Hey everybody, this is Julie Lewis. I am one of the co-founders of Create Community Studios and the site director for our Saratoga Springs studio. I wanted to share with you an art prompt. We're trying to do this each day to reach out to our community during this difficult time. Reminding people that there are practices that we can do at home with ourselves and with our family members that can help us stay centered and grounded during this time. So the art prompt I'm going to share with you today is called The Map to Calm. I wish I could take credit for this idea. When I started art journaling about 5 years ago, this was an idea that I found online in a course, and I'm sorry to whoever made this amazing idea that I can't credit it to you, but so I want to share with you what I made. I'm going to scooch it over to this side. The idea of Map to Calm is to help us identify where our points of anxiety are, where our fear is when we're feeling that come up in our bodies, and identify some action steps along the way, whether that's in mindset or in actual physical body, actions, steps, things that we do that will help us get to that calmer, more centered place. So my map to calm starts with the word pause. For me, that's just kind of a mantra. When I'm in that difficult place, I like to just remind myself to pause. Hit the pause button, breathe for, take a few deep breaths, count to 10, go to a quiet room for a moment if I need to collect myself. And then I generally try to work my way through. This map is a little bit more about thought processes. And so I identified some thought processes as well as action steps that I could take along the way. And I just cut out words from magazines to do this, but you could cut out pictures, you could draw those actions, you could write the words yourself, or you could do a combination, a multimedia type piece of work with it. So some things I identified along the way, whatever that crisis or problem I was in, was just identifying the reality that I was in, which is kind of where a lot of us are right now. Like, is this real? What's going on? Then a lot of us go through, and I definitely did this with COVID-19, figuring it out. Do a lot of research gathering, reading, scooping up all the information you can to understand, what's happening. Have conversations about that. A lot of the conversations for me happen in community. Right now that's happening online, which I think is like the best use for the internet ever. So lucky us right now. All of that kind of led to understanding, it's kind of where I am right now, understanding the gravity of the situation, understanding what it is that we need to do. Knowledge is power. That's affecting our actions and our choices right now. Just sort of leading to acceptance. Like, here we are, we're in this place. It's time to let go of the things that we don't think we can control and start taking control of what we can, which is keeping ourselves physically healthy, mentally healthy, practicing physical distancing if we can, as best we can, all the things that we're being told to do. So, my words kind of go on. I can definitely tell you that I'm trying to get to this gratitude and love place. And what that means for me is a lot of times this is self-compassion. Love in this sense to me is self-compassion. I'm sort of in this, moving into this, between this wisdom and gratitude place right now. I feel grateful that I am getting more information, that I'm learning how to take care of myself and my family better. And then I feel grateful for all of these things that seem so simple, things we take for granted every day. But roof over my head, food on the table, healthy family members, nature, my dog, the people I love in my life. I'm going to show you what I did on the inside. Again, this isn't your typical map. And I think I realized this kind of after the fact, but I made it kind of this cool 3D thing. And it reminds me now of like a tornado, and how at the center of a tornado is the calm, the spot where nothing moves, right? So everything can be swirling around outside of it, but in the center of the tornado is that calm spot. So this is a map I cut out from somewhere. I think we had just returned from living abroad, so this might have been a map from Europe or something. I just had a little picture on the inside of a globe, and on the blackboard it says creativity takes courage, which it does. It takes courage to process this stuff, to express what we're going through. So I wanted to share this with you because before I had even realized that we were going to be basically in a state of shutdown, this past week I did a practice with my homeschool art students called the Map to Calm. And we talked about what our nervous systems feel like when we're in that dysregulated state of anxiety and fear and nervousness and anger, and what kind of action steps we needed to take along the way. So their maps looked a little bit more like a pirate map, right? So they had like a point up here, X marks the spot, and a point down here, X marks the spot. They did like a little treasure chest, some of them, or rainbows or things at the end of, at the end of the map, the treasure that they wanted to get to. So here was that kind of icky feeling place. And then we plotted things that we needed to do along the way to get from fear and anxiety to calm. And for them, some of those things were real action items, like I need to move and get exercise, I need to get outside, I need to eat something, I need to read a book, I need to have some quiet time, I need to listen to music, I need to make art. Things that were good self-care practices to help, get their body back into, and their mind back into regulation and that state of calm. So they drew pictures, or they cut pictures out of magazines, and they kind of did a multimedia thing, which is what this is as well. So let me just show you what supplies I used, and these are all things that you might have at home. And if you don't, let me know. If you live in my community, I have lots of extra watercolors and things I'd be happy to drop off to your family. So you can see that I used used a collage method. So, just some leftover magazines that you have around the house. Got my Oprah and my Real Simple. A couple of, I'm giggling a little bit at my old magazine choices. Old time magazines. I use a waterproof marker. I use my microns. Obviously, these are sort of a specialty item, so if you have a Sharpie or something around the house that's waterproof, that's helpful, because if you do want to watercolor over your map, give it a little more background color, this can be helpful. But any kind of Sharpie marker would work. And then I have a nice set of brush watercolors. You can use any kind of watercolors, Crayola, whatever you have around the house. Doesn't take a fancy set of anything. Even crayons or colored pencils or markers in the background would be great. Scissors and a glue stick. So I took some time when I was creating my map to calm to just think about and plot things out before I put them on my map, before I glued everything down finally. So I'll show it to you one last time. I had really a lot of fun making something 3D on a map too, which I just thought was kind of interesting to do. So this is a great art practice that you can do with your kids, with your family. I think this is an important time for us to process as a family what's going on. I'm definitely seeing behaviors in my kids that show me that they're a little bit anxious and nervous and uncertain, and so certainly something you can do on your own or with your family. And I hope that it's helpful. And don't judge how many times I'm touching my face. Happy creating. We will see you at the next video.